The red smoke is a pretty significant aspect of Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. It was heavily used in the marketing and we ran into it a lot throughout the game. But what is interesting is what it actually does to us. The hallucinations or nightmares we have are not normal. They seem to be influenced by something. So what are these hallucinations we have throughout the chapter and what do they mean? The red smoke is a poppy flower based gas produced in Playcare's gas production zone. The red smoke was used by Playtime Co's employees to aid in putting the children to sleep so they can be experimented on without hassle. Catnap was used to help with this process so they could deliver the red smoke to the children without causing any suspicions. The scientist attached a breathing apparatus to his esophagus that allowed him to release the gas at will. Like I just mentioned, the red smoke's primary effect is putting whoever inhales it to sleep. However, it also seems to have another effect of intense nightmares and hallucinations. While unconscious, Catnap can manipulate the mind to picture whatever he desires. At times, the effects of the gas can be so seamless to the point where you don't even know what's real and what's not. Although, these hallucinations are nothing new. This is brought up with Mary Payne, an orphan test subject that would later turn into Mommy Longlegs. Mary's incident report states that she had violent nightmares after the lights went out in Home Sweet Home. This was from the red smoke that was added into the building by Catnap. Mary said she saw some kind of colorless monster as well as making her extremely paranoid. This colorless monster is thought to be Catnap. Now, during chapter 3, the first time we run into the red smoke is in Home Sweet Home. We unknowingly walk through this gas and get sent into a hallucinogenic state as we pass out. We find ourselves inside a maze-like version of Home Sweet Home. As we navigate through the everlasting halls, we hear news reports on the radio about the body of a young boy being found at Elliot Ludwig's estate, Elliot being the founder of Playtime Co. The body was found in an upstairs bedroom in a large duffel bag with the remains being disturbed. Organs as well as key bones from the skeletal structure were missing from the body. Playtime Co. was then asked for any comments about this discovery. They said it was sickening. Elliot was a great man. Those who knew him understood that he was not capable of violence. He had a deep love in his heart for children, like the one that they found, making the actions of whoever planted this body all the more sick. We look forward to clearing his good name both in the public eye and in the eyes of the law. The radio continues with, despite the Playtime Co. statement of Ludwig's innocence, many believe his mysterious nature displayed over the previous decades leads to suspicions. Elliot's neighbors have observed him leaving early in the morning and returning late at night. Despite the allegations, Playtime Co. still supports Ludwig, denying any claims of him being the killer, and ensuring the accusations would be proven false and his name cleared. Now, considering we are in a hallucinogenic state, is this even real? Yes. Remember, we are an old employee of the Playtime Co. Miss Delight even remembers us when we run into her at the school. So why is the radio telling us this? Well, this means that we might know all about the boy whose body was found in Elliot's house. Maybe we have some kind of involvement with it. Just maybe it was our fault. We even find a room with the writing "Guilt haunts you" on the chalkboard. This is clearly directed towards us. We are guilty about something. The beginning of this nightmare is reminding us of the guilt we feel towards the kid found in Elliot's house, because we had something to do with it. Next, we find another room, but as we walk up to it, we hear the screams and cries of children. These are presumably the same cries we heard from the children while working here. In this room, we find a tape called Welcome to Playtime. The first half of it tells us what to expect as a new employee, while showing us Huggy Wuggy on screen, meaning we have heard this tape before. This is the same tape we listened to when we first started working here, although the tone of the tape changes and Huggy Wuggy's face becomes sinister. It begins to explain our current situation, explaining how if we come back years later, it's our conscience getting the better of us. We may descend into the dark and the dust, finding all that awaits us are incomprehensible horrors, each hungry for our return, eager that they might find us. This is referencing the still alive toys that we have been running into throughout the chapters. They have been waiting for us. This is their world now. welcome home. Suddenly, the nightmarish Huggy Wuggy we have been looking at on screen jumps out and attacks us. We then wake up. This version of Huggy Wuggy is in fact Catnap. This whole nightmare was influenced by Catnap. Like I previously mentioned, he is able to manipulate our nightmares caused by the red smoke. Catnap included the radio reports of the boy's body in Elliot's house to remind us of the horrors we were involved in. The guilt we carry from our past is brought to light by Catnap, and this is just the beginning of it. The counselor's office is where we have our second major nightmare. We run into the red smoke and put on our gas mask. Although Catnap jumps us, takes our mask, and leaves us on the floor. Because of the red smoke, we start to hallucinate. We find ourselves traveling through some kind of red smoke tunnel. As we go deeper and deeper, flashbacks of the Playtime Co. factory begin to appear. While this happens, we also hear Poppy's voice. Although this is actually Catnap using Poppy's voice, as he is able to manipulate any part of our dreams. The first location is outside of the factory, as we hear Poppy say, "Find the flower." This isn't a place you come back from. Considering this is Catnap talking, he is telling us that as a kid, you do not leave this place once you are here, reminding us what even happened to him. Next, we are in the entrance of the facility from chapter 1. Catnap asks us if we even have any idea what we're doing. Do we know what happened here? As we see halls from Home Sweet Home with the shadows of kids running around. Catnap is reminding us of the innocent children that once ran these halls, continuing with showing us a schoolroom again filled with the shadows of kids, asking if we know who they once were, meaning we heartlessly experimented on these kids without even knowing who they are. He then asks if we see why they have to end this. Catnap is referencing putting an end to the torture of the kids, stopping the Playtime Co. We then see Huggy Wuggy as Catnap answers all of the questions he has been asking us with a simple "No, we don't." This is Catnap making us aware of our own actions from when we worked here, meaning we carelessly did our job, which led to ruining the lives of innocent children. Next, we hear the emergency alarms from when the hour of joy began, seeing an empty Huggy Wuggy station as the prototype's hand comes down from up above. This is Catnap using the perspective of Huggy Wuggy as a vague answer towards the toy's motivations for the hour of joy, depicting Huggy being subject to the wrath of the prototype, signifying how he was even controlled by the prototype, much like the other toys. So why did Catnap show this to us? Why did we see the past locations, and why did he ask these questions for him to answer them himself? Well, it was to remind us of the horror we once took part in, and the guilt we feel from it, to remind us as to why the hour of joy took place. Catnap is suggesting that we are the evil one. We are the true monsters of Playtime Co. Now, these hallucinations or nightmares crafted by Catnap seem to focus on one thing: guilt. The guilt of our past that haunts our present. This is the reason why we are even here. Our guilt haunts us. Just like the tape at the beginning stated, our conscience is getting the better of us. Catnap is reminding us what we have done. He knows the horrors we have committed. These hallucinations are him reminding us that we cannot escape our past and the guilt we harbor. What do you guys think of these hallucinations? Are they something with deep meaning like I suggested, or are they just there to scare us? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitter at TerrifiedT. Thanks for watching.